So in the last few weeks, we've had the Venice Film Festival, the Telluride Film Festival, and the Toronto Film Festival, which have shed a little bit of light on the upcoming Oscar season. The 95th Academy Awards aren't until March 12th, 2023, but based on the reviews and prizes that have been given out recently at the festivals, what are some absolute certain Oscar contenders? In this video, I'm going to break down the highs and the lows of the recent three big film festivals and talk about the chances of the upcoming major fall releases. Let's start with the Venice Film Festival, which came first. I would say there are three films that played at Venice I think are going to be major contenders at the upcoming Oscar ceremony. The first film is Tar. This film got rave reviews all across the board, and Cate Blanchett won the prize for Best Actress. I am a huge Cate Blanchett fan and a massive Todd Field fan. Been waiting for his third movie for almost 2 decades now, and I had really high hopes for this one. I was so happy and relieved to see all the glowing reviews for Tar, and then for Cate Blanchett to win the prize for Best Actress, for her performance to be unanimously praised and loved. And it sounds like it's a challenging role, one tailor-made for Blanchett. I can't wait to see this movie, and I can't wait to see Cate Blanchett receive her 8th Academy Award nomination. The question will be, can she win? This would be her 3rd Oscar. It's happened before. Obviously, Frances McDormand, who won Best Actress for a 3rd time just a year ago, and it's been almost a decade since Blanchett won the prize for Blue Jasmine. And I feel like if there's not a clear favorite in the field, a lot of voters will be picking Blanchett. Her nomination is guaranteed at this point, and she is the frontrunner. The second film that played at Venice that's done very well is The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky and starring Brendan Fraser and Sadie Sink. I had high hopes for this one too. Everybody loves a comeback story. It's been a long time since we've had a great Brendan Fraser performance. Everything I read about this movie up until the day it premiered was that this was going to be his Oscar movie, his Oscar performance. And from what I've read, this is the performance of his life. It is stunning work. I would say The Whale will likely get in for picture, director, supporting actress for Sadie Sink. And I think the frontrunner for Best Actor, as of now, is Brendan Fraser. Even though he's never been nominated for an Oscar before, I think he's one of those actors that everybody really likes and has been waiting for a performance to reward him for come Oscar time. This is the one. He is absolutely going to be nominated. That's not even a question. Can he win? I think he can. Aronofsky directed Natalie Portman to an Oscar win for Black Swan. He directed Mickey Rourke to an Oscar nomination, almost a win, for The Wrestler. It's been a while since we've had an Aronofsky movie do really well at the Academy Awards. I think The Whale will definitely be one of those movies. I've read so many reviews that say the very end of the movie is devastating. Everybody's crying. When everybody's crying and there are stellar performances and it's Aronofsky, yeah, that's getting into the top categories. So I'm going to say right now, Brendan Fraser is the frontrunner for Best Actor, and we'll see how this plays out in the months to come. The third film that took Venice by storm, one that I did not talk about in my previous Oscar predictions video, and I should have, The Banshees of Inisherin, starring Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. Now, I've been a big Colin Farrell fan going all the way back to the days of Tigerland and Minority Report. I have been waiting for that first Oscar nomination. It has not happened in the last 2 decades, even though he's done some tremendous work in films like The Lobster, In Bruges. In Bruges is a fantastic Colin Farrell performance. I was so happy when he won that Golden Globe Award, and then I wasn't so happy when the performance was passed over come Oscar time. I think finally this is his year, especially because he's in a lot of other acclaimed films like After Yang, 13 Lives, and The Batman, which has an amazing Farrell performance as the Penguin. this is kind of a big year for him, and I was so thrilled to see all the rave reviews for his performance. Farrell's chances are even better in that he won the prize for Best Actor at Venice. The movie did well in other categories. It won Best Screenplay at Venice. This is a hugely beloved movie, and I could see it doing very well on Oscar nominations morning. I just feel like the timing is right for the first Colin Farrell Oscar nomination. He deserved one for In Bruges, a film that also teamed him with Brendan Gleeson and writer-director Martin McDonagh, which is the case of The Banshees of Inisherin. I feel like Martin McDonagh had a big hit a few years ago, critically and commercially, with 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, a movie that won Frances McDormand her Oscar for Best Actress. Everything is coming together on this one. I can't wait to see the movie, and I can't wait to see Colin Farrell finally receive his first Academy Award nomination in the spring. Some other movies that played at Venice that I think might be a contender at the Oscars. One is Blonde. I don't think the film's going to do very well at the Oscars next year. Based on what I've read about it, it is a little bit divisive. I feel like some people really hate it. But I have read a lot of praise for the Ana de Armas performance, and I think about Spencer, I think about My Week with Marilyn. It feels like the kind of performance that will likely do okay during the award season. I'm not so sure about the other categories, but she is definitely in the running. I'm really curious about Bones and All, a movie that I did not talk about in my previous Oscar predictions video. I didn't know much about it about a month ago when I made that, and now I've read about it. It sounds really interesting, but I'm curious about the cannibalism factor. I don't know if that's going to be something that plays very well, especially for Oscar voters. I feel like it's a movie that will play somewhere, especially since the movie won 2 major prizes, the Silver Lion Best Director prize and the Best New Young Actor or Actress prize for Taylor Russell. Taylor Russell, I feel like, could be a surprise on Oscar nominations morning. I feel like Bones and All might be one of those that shows up kind of unexpectedly in Best Director or Best Screenplay. And again, that's one I'm really, really excited to see. The opening night film to Venice was White Noise. I feel like it did okay with critics, and then I haven't really heard about it since. In the last week or so, I haven't read much about it. I'm not hearing a lot of talk about White Noise. I feel like you can never count out Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig, Adam Driver, unless the movie just really underperforms at the box office and is forgotten about a few weeks later. I do think White Noise gets in at least for screenplay, and we'll see how Best Actor shakes out. Adam Driver has 2 nominations behind him, and he was terrific in 3 different movies last year, and he was overlooked. So he could be overlooked again. It depends on how well it does when it actually opens around the country, but I do think Adam Driver could still be a contender for White Noise. And then there's the documentary All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, which won the Venice Prize for Golden Lion. I think this movie is going to be nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars. It sounds really fascinating, and I'm very thrilled to see this one. I don't know if it'll win documentary yet. I don't know enough about all the contenders for that category, but I love me a great documentary, and this one sounds really good. Finally, a few other titles from Venice I'm not feeling so great about as of this moment. Bardo by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu was one of the big titles going into that week's festival, and it did not do very well. I have been trying to find any reviews that highly praise it. From what I've read, it's 3 hours long and could easily be 2. I've loved almost all of his movies, so I'm still curious to watch it, but it sounds like if it gets in anywhere at the Oscars, it'll be in a couple technical categories. I don't think Bardo, as of now, is placing in any of the top 8 categories. I think it might show up in like a cinematography or an editing in the technical places. The fact that Inarritu won Best Director 2 years in a row last decade shows me that you can never count him out. He could be a surprise 5th nominee for Best Director on Oscar nominations morning. If there's enough Oscar voters who really love that movie, it could happen. But I kind of want to watch the film first. I want to get my reaction to it and get a sense of how well it might do. But from what I've read, I don't think it's going very far. And then the other big one was The Sun, which did not do very well with critics. I've been reading so many negative things about it. Like, there are some people who I respect, who I follow on Twitter, critics and podcasters, who really despise it. To the point where I'm like, I don't know about this one. I mean, I was thinking this could be a contender for picture, director, actor, supporting actress. And I still wouldn't count Hugh Jackman out because it's been a long time since his nomination for Les Miserables, and I feel like he's been really solid in a lot of movies the last few years. And the fact that the director made The Father, and that won Anthony Hopkins the Oscar for Best Actor, I can't count it out yet. Again, I'm going to want to watch it and get a sense of how it is, but I'm not seeing that showing up right now. Like, we'll see how it plays out the next few weeks and months. And then finally, Don't Worry, Darling will go down in history more famous for other things than the movie itself. I will be seeing it in the theater. I love the cast. I really dig the trailer. I'm going to check it out. But as of now, I think Don't Worry, Darling gets 0 Oscar nominations. Next up is the Telluride Film Festival, where there are just 2 movies that played there that I feel like could be major contenders at the Oscars. The first one is Women Talking, another movie I'm very upset at myself for not discussing in my previous Oscar predictions video. I didn't know much about it a month ago, and now that I've read about it, the anticipation I'm feeling for this movie. I love the work of Sarah Polley. The ensemble of actors in this movie is astounding, and from what I've read, people are really digging this one. And oh my gosh, how much I would love to see Sarah Polley get her first Oscar nomination for Best Director. She's been nominated once for her amazing screenplay, To Away From Her. I love that movie. And I just have a feeling about Women Talking. I really, really, really hope this one does well come awards time, because I love her work and I really dig the cast of this. I can't wait to see it. I've been reading that Jessie Buckley might be up for another nomination for Best Supporting Actress. She was just nominated a few months ago for The Lost Daughter. I feel like the best bet for Women Talking as of now is screenplay. I feel like this one might go all the way. Get into picture and director, maybe supporting actress. I'm feeling pretty good about it. The reviews that I've read say it's pretty great, and I can't wait to see it. The other one I think we have to count on is Empire of Light. The fact that it's about the world of cinema and movie theaters, that it's Sam Mendes and Olivia Colman. I mean, from what I understand, it got some mixed reviews. It wasn't all raves. I read a few initial notices that said it was great, and then I've read a couple in the days since it premiered at Telluride that said it's just okay, or it's kind of sentimental, manipulative. I feel like The Fabelmans has some similarities to Empire of Light in its subject matter, and I wonder if there will be room for both movies in picture, in director, in screenplay. I feel like there could be, but I feel like Empire of Light and The Fabelmans both celebrate the love of cinema, and I wonder if one will take over the other. I feel like from what I've read that The Fabelmans might take it all the way versus Empire of Light, which maybe will get into some major categories, but won't be a front runner in any of them. I don't know. It's only September. We have a long ways to go. But I feel like as of this moment, Empire of Light is likely to get into picture, director, actors for Olivia Colman, cinematography for Roger Deakins. That's definitely happening. And then I'm reading great notices for Michael Ward, who might slip into Best Actor, depending on how well the movie does. Colin Firth, maybe he can get into supporting actor. I'm excited to see it. I'm a huge fan of the director. I'm a huge fan of Coleman. This movie looks to be my jam in every way, so I'm feeling good about it, but we'll see how things play out. The other two movies that played at Telluride I haven't talked about yet are The Wonder and Armageddon Time. I saw some decent notices for both, but as of now, I'm thinking outside of a possible nomination for Florence Pugh in Best Actress, a nomination that would kind of be recognizing her for her work in both The Wonder and Don't Worry Darling. I feel like that could happen, but actress is always so stacked every year that I don't think The Wonder's going to make it in there. And Armageddon Time, I didn't read a lot of raves on that one. I read a couple reviews that really dismissed it. I love the cast. I feel like it could get in somewhere, but as of now, I'm predicting Armageddon Time and The Wonder will come up short on Oscar nominations morning. And finally, we have the Toronto Film Festival, which just ended and played a lot of films that I've already talked about, many films that played at both Venice and Telluride. I'm not going to talk about them again. Let's just discuss a few of the titles that premiered at Toronto and that could place on Oscar nominations morning. I think far and away the movie that we all were hoping would be great, that I was awaiting for hours before it premiered on Saturday, September 10th. I am a huge Steven Spielberg fan. I'm really intrigued by him making such a personal film. And based on the trailer that I've watched now, maybe like 10 or 12 times, and all the reviews I read about the film, I feel like The Fabelmans right now is the favorite to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It feels like it has all the elements that the Academy loves. They love Spielberg. They love films about films. And I feel like it's been a while since Spielberg made a movie that was just hugely beloved by the Academy. West Side Story did pretty well last year, but in terms of its wins, it kind of came up short. I feel like The Fabelmans will be the one to cross the finish line. I just feel like it's got everything. It's got the perfect release date, the end of November. All the reviews I read about it, even the ones that weren't like huge raves, seem to appreciate the movie and admire the movie. You can't bet against Spielberg. He's gotten in for so many of his dramatic films, even the ones that underperformed. Spielberg hasn't won a directing Oscar since 1999. It's been almost 25 years. He's in his 70s. This looks to be the movie that might bring him his third Oscar. It would not surprise me. I also think this will finally be the movie that gets Michelle Williams her first Academy Award. She's been nominated 4 times before. And if she goes supporting actress for this movie, which I'm reading that she will, I think she's going to be our frontrunner for supporting actress. It's time. It is time for Michelle Williams. She has been so good for decades in so many great movies. I think most people will agree that Michelle Williams should be the frontrunner for this award. I think screenplay is a sure thing, might be a winner. I have been waiting for Tony Kushner to finally win an Oscar, and this might be the movie that does it for him and for Spielberg, who is a co-writer with Kushner. Again, I think Empire of Light will also do well on Oscar nominations morning, but I could see The Fabelmans getting into 10, 11, 12 categories, just completely sweeping. I've heard that the Judd Hirsch cameo is great, and that he could be a contender for supporting actor. I think that's a possibility. I just think this movie could take it all. I think it could be the big movie of Oscar night in a way we haven't really seen in a while. As of this recording, The Fabelmans just won the Audience Award at the Toronto Film Festival. Many films in the last few years have won that award and gone on to win the Oscar for Best Picture, so The Fabelmans is in a very good place. And then a few other titles from Toronto I'm intrigued by. I think Decision to Leave has a very good chance to be this year's Drive My Car, Get Into Picture, Director. I think that movie is absolutely going to be in the Oscar conversation. I am so happy to hear that Bros is supposed to be hilarious and great. Could it get into original screenplay like Bridesmaids did? Maybe. I mean, it's a breakthrough R-rated studio gay romantic comedy. I will be there on day 1 to see it. And then there's The Woman King, which has now come out and has gotten a lot of great reviews. As of this recording, the film just overperformed at the box office with $19 million in its first weekend. and I feel like word of mouth is going to play a strong role in this one. I just saw the movie. I loved it. I thought it was spectacular. I thought the Viola Davis performance was excellent. It's a great film. I'm hoping it sticks around the next few months and gets some Oscar nominations in the spring. If it does well enough, it might even get into picture, and I think Viola Davis now has a sincere shot at an actress nomination. So, as we reach the end of this video, let's go over the major contenders once again. The Fabelmans, I think that gets into picture, director, supporting actress for Michelle Williams, screenplay. Tar, I think will get in for picture and actress for Cate Blanchett. Maybe director. I think The Whale is going to be nominated in multiple categories, including picture, director, actor for Brendan Fraser, probably Sadie Sink for supporting actress. Women Talking, I would love to see that get into best director, best screenplay. The Banshees of Inisherin, I think it's in for picture, director. Colin Farrell for best actor. Maybe Brendan Gleeson for best supporting actor. And Empire of Light, I think it's in for picture, director, actress for Olivia Colman, likely screenplay. I would say of all the movies that have played the film festival circuit the last few weeks, those are the top 6 that I expect to see in multiple categories at the Oscars. Now, it's only September, things can change, but what I love about Venice, Telluride, and Toronto is that it gives a little bit of a sneak peek as to what the award season is going to look like, and I am very, very excited for this upcoming season. I think we have a lot of very promising contenders and so many films that I am just dying to see, especially The Fabelmans, Tar, and The Whale. Now, which other films do I think will get into the top categories come Oscar nominations morning? Only time will tell. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below which films that premiered at the major festivals do you think will receive Oscar nominations at next year's ceremony? Are there any films you think I left off the list? See you next time!